Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyarisha Dharine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasati Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Nitai Sachi Sundara, Nitai Sachi Sundara. Nitai Sachishunda Jaya, Nitai Sachishunda, Nitai Sachishunda, Nitai Sachishunda, Nitai Sachishunda Jaya, Nitai Sachishunda Jaya, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jai Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jaya, Prabhupada, Jai Jaya, Prabhupada, 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 Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Again, welcome Amit, Manchu, Rakash, Delhi, and Sunil. So we have two new persons here. Manchu. We'll look at the Bhagavad Gītā verse 4:3 tonight, chapter 4, text 3. And whenever we don't have to wait till the end, you have a question, raise your hand. So that is like, where is the raise hand? Amit, can you raise your hand just to show everyone? Raise your hand. Amit, you are usually a good hand raiser. Yeah, like that, a little hand will come up. Keep it up, and I will take your question at the right time. So, yes, we can discuss Bhagavad Gītā. And we'll share that screen as well. That is a text we're discussing tonight. Chapter 4, text 3. You keep your microphone muted as it is now. And once I'll ask you to speak, if you have raised your hand, then you unmute the microphone and afterwards you mute it again. Otherwise we get too much background noise and all kind of noises. Okay, we can start. That is Bhagavad Gītā, chapter 4, text 3. The chapter is entitled Transcendental Knowledge. So not ordinary knowledge. This is transcendental knowledge. That's a very special type of knowledge. Spiritual knowledge. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agnati Mirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Tadadi Swabadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrachadam Zahagana Ragunatan Vitam Dam Sachivam Satvaitam Sabatutam Parichana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shivishakan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanepyo Vaishnavepyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're reading from 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gītā, text 3. Sa eva yamaya teja yoga brokta puratana bhakto sime sakha cheti rasayam yetat uttamam. Rituan has also joined. Welcome, Rituan, Prabhuji. We have a big group tonight. Nice. So let's see what this text is telling us. Translation. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you. To you, that means Arjuna, and me, that is Krishna. Because you are my devotee as well as my friend. and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Well, very interesting verse. It links up with that little video which I sent today. So, Rituan Prabhuji, can you read us the purport?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. There are two classes of men, namely the devotee and the demon. The Lord selected Arjuna as the recipient of this great science owing to his being a devotee of the Lord. But for the demon, it is not
No
possible
sound?
to...
Oh, one moment. My headphone is not plugged in. Therefore, I cannot hear you. Start up again, Rituan, please.
Okay. There are two classes of men, namely the devotee and the demon. The Lord selected Arjun as the recipient of this great science, owing to his being a devotee of the Lord. But for the demon, it is not possible to understand this great mysterious science. There are a number of editions of this great book of knowledge. Some of them have commentaries by the devotees, and some of them have commentaries by the demons. Commentation by the devotees is real, whereas that of the demons is useless. Arjuna accepts Sri Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead, and any commentary on the Gita following in the footsteps of Arjuna is real devotional service to the cause of this great science. The demoniac, however, do not accept Lord Krishna as he is. Instead, they concoct something about Krishna and mislead general readers from the path of Krishna's instruction. Here is a warning about such misleading paths. One should try to follow the disciplic succession from Arjuna and thus be benefited by this great science of Srimad Bhagavatam. Surrender unto me.
Bhagavad Gītā, yes. Okay.
Sorry, Srimad.
Very interesting. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Of course, first of all, let's clarify. There are demons and there are devotees. Devotees means those who know who they are. And not only know who they are, but acting according to that knowledge. So, who are we? We hear from Bhagavad Gītā and from Krishna himself, we are not this body. His body is changing all the time, from boyhood to youth, to childhood, to boyhood, to youth, to old age. So that body is changing, and after that body is useless, and we, the soul, cannot live in any longer, then we enter another body. So this is a transmigration of the soul. I think everybody is very conversant. Everybody is has no problem with accepting that. So who we are, there we start off. We are that spirit within the body, or the soul, the spirit soul, that spirit spark, which Lord Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gītā, just to give us an idea of the size. It's a 10,000th part of the tip of a hair. So really, really, really small, to give some idea. So that we are. We could also say we are consciousness. Consciousness is quite close to the soul. The sign of consciousness, if consciousness is in the body, then the body moves. Not only human body, animal body, plant body. So wherever there is life, there is consciousness. So we are this consciousness. Can we experience that? Yes, we can. I've many times given that example. If we going to sleep at night, we laying down in bed, the body is resting, relaxing, but the mind is always busy. So we are not sleeping yet. We are still awake. Now, the mind is generating so many different thoughts. That's a business of the mind, to generate thoughts constantly. One thought after another, after another, after another. So we can, in this relaxed state at night, we can observe the mind. The thoughts are coming. We can observe these thoughts just like we watching a movie. So we as an observer, if we can manage that, looking at our thoughts as they come and go, if we can make that distance between ourselves and our mind, so we actually looking at our own mind. So that means we are not this mind. We are not this body, we are not this mind. We're looking at this body, we're looking internally, we're looking at our thoughts. We're witnessing our thoughts. So who is that we? Said we, that is our real identity. That is consciousness. That's the soul. We are that consciousness. In general, in the day, it is very difficult, more difficult, because we are involved in so many activities and we identify with the mind. I want this, I want that. Oh, I don't want this, I don't want that. The mind wants this and the mind wants that, not I. I'm different from the mind. So if we can train ourselves to look at our mind as the mind is producing thoughts. So we put a distance between ourselves and our mind. We can observe our mind producing thoughts. So we are that observer. We are that consciousness. So that's the first lesson to be learned. So the devotees, they have realized that much. The demons is a strong word, what Krishna is using, what Srila Prabhupada is using. Those who are not devotees, they don't want to acknowledge this. They think we are this body and there is nothing more than this body. That's all. And the goal of life is to enjoy the senses of the body, the eyes, the nose, the sense of smell, the sense of taste, of touch, of sound. So we want to enjoy all this, the senses and the sense objects. So that nothing more than that. That's the goal of life. So devotees, it is not like that. So devotees, they're realizing I have nothing to do with this body. I'm like a driver in the car. I am that consciousness in the body. So, and more, I'm eternal. The consciousness is eternal. We, that consciousness, we are eternal. That's a very important lesson. Sunil, go ahead.
You mentioned earlier that plants are also conscious, which is true as a fact now based on the recent revelations. Now, since plants are also conscious as animals are we supposed to eat them then? Plants.
Good
Because
question.
they're conscious. Because they're
Yes.
conscious, right?
Yes. Good question, Sunil. How did you find us, Sunil?
To Manjuji, she is my better half.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Welcome. Yes. So, yes, the plants have consciousness. They're living entities. Therefore, we are not really concerned to convert people to be vegetarian. Vegetarian, not vegetarian, that's all the same. So, if we eat animals, we get a very strong karmic reaction. Karma, sinful activity to kill an animal and eat it. But likewise, as you pointed out, if we kill a plant, also the plant is at a lower consciousness, more covered consciousness, but still that's also killing. We also get a sinful reaction. So no difference. A sinful reaction, bad karma for killing an animal, bad karma for cutting a cauliflower, for instance. So what to do? What is Krishna saying? Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gītā, Patram pushpam palam toyam. If you offer me with love and devotion, a leaf, a flower, a little bit of water, I will accept it. And when Krishna accepts something, then whatever karma is there, that is his responsibility. Therefore, the devotees, they offer their food to Krishna with love and devotion. In every temple, we will see that the offering is going on, 5 offerings. In any bigger temple, there are 5 offerings a day. And devotees said, only take Krishna Prasad. And at home, as householders, the same thing. We make an offering. The offering can be as simple as having prepared a preparation, and then before we eat, we saying Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Possibly 3 times if we can. Even in our mind, we can chant the mantra. And then asking with that chant, please Krishna, accept this offering which I have prepared for you. And we don't taste the food while cooking. The devotees don't taste the food. Because Krishna is the first guest, so to speak, the enjoyer of that food. And Krishna, so what we're eating are the remnants of Krishna. And Krishna is all spiritual. He purifies any karma. We offer him the food, and then we'll take the remnants, and that is called prasadam, which is translates as Krishna's mercy. Now, this is a way around. Not veg, non-veg. No, offering. We are not vegetarian. We are prasadarians, so to speak. We're eating Krishna Prasad, Krishna's mercy. Like the sun can purify a dirty place. Let's take an example in India. There are so many dirty places, or sometimes there are no toilets and people go in the field and so on. And there is urine. And the sun is so powerful. The sun is purifying everything. But the sun doesn't get affected. Not that the sun becomes contaminated by purifying a dirty place. So it's the same with Krishna. Krishna is all powerful. So fully spiritual and all powerful. So if we bring anything in contact with Krishna by offering our food, then if there's any sinful reaction, if there's any karma, any bad karma attached to cutting a cauliflower or to cutting the throat of an animal, then Krishna will purify that. But Krishna does not accept animal flesh, because he says in the Bhagavad Gītā, a leaf, fruit, a bit of water. So Krishna is offered only sattva guna food. Krishna, we can offer to Krishna veg, fruit, milk, grain, dal, and all of this. That we offer to Krishna, and he will accept it. If we offer meat to Krishna, that is a big offense, and he will not accept it. So we get the sinful reaction. We are responsible. So basically, we acknowledging that all the food we eat, our nourishment, is coming from Krishna. We acknowledging that. Generally, people, or talking in the words of Bhagavad Gītā, the demons, they don't acknowledge that. They don't offer anything. They think, I am God. There is no God. Atheist, demon, there is no God. I am God. Or, I am God and you are God and everybody is God. Now, this is philosophy. They're so proud and puffed up that they don't submit to Krishna. So that was a good question about food. Prasadam, offering such foods which are offerable. Does it answer your question, Sunil?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you. So now in this verse, there are some, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned also in that purport, they interpret the Bhagavad Gītā in their own way. There are so many editions of Bhagavad Gītā. So they interpret by their mental speculation. So that is not very helpful. We don't do that as devotees. We don't interpret by our own mental concoction. The mind can concoct so many things. Sometimes it has been one concoction, I'll just tell you, interpretation. So we all know Krishna and the 5 Pandavas, and the Mahabharata takes place on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And there is an interpretation, some saying, oh, Krishna means the mind. And the 5 Pandavas means the 5 senses. And the battlefield of Kurukshetra is the body. So these are all completely unauthorized interpretations. They have no value. One can make up anything. So we don't follow this kind of Bhagavad Gītā. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada has and is presenting Bhagavad Gītā as it is. As it is. It means as it is, as Krishna spoke it 5,000 years ago. No interpretation. Literally. Everything, literally. So this is important. And as Srila Prabhupada mentioned in his purport, it comes through the parampara. Parampara means is a disciplic succession. Going back to Krishna and Arjuna, 5,000 years on the battlefield, in the Mahabharata. So Arjuna was the first disciple of Krishna. Actually, not the first disciple. The Bhagavad Gītā, sometimes we are asked, how old is Bhagavad Gītā? Well, definitely 5,000 years, when the Battle of Kurukshetra took place. And if there is any query when academic scholars don't accept Bhagavad Gītā, Mahabharata was 5,000 years ago. They're speculating their own numbers. Younger numbers, because they don't want to acknowledge the Bhagavad Gītā, Mahabharata. These are 5,000 years ago. These are the oldest Vedic scriptures, are the oldest scriptures. So that's one answer, 5,000 years ago. But actually, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gītā, I have spoken the science of the soul to the sun god. To the sun god. Then Arjuna asked the question, how is that possible? The sun god, Vivasvan, at the beginning of creation, that is millions and billions of years back. So, but you, Krishna, you are just as old as I am. So how do I understand that? And then Krishna explains to him, Arjuna, you and me, because Arjuna is an eternal associate of Lord Krishna. He's always with Lord Krishna. And by the way, this pastime of Mahabharata, of the battle of Kurukshetra and the Bhagavad Gītā being spoken as a centerpiece of the Mahabharata. Shanti Bhai, welcome. So there have been some scholars. There is one, I think, Dr. Rao. He wrote a book, The Date of the Kurukshetra War. Very nice, very nice. He proves, he's an astrologer, by information from the Mahabharata, from Bhishma Parva. There it is mentioned some when Bhishma Dev, Pitamaha, when he left his body, he left this world in the assembly with Krishna and the Pandavas and the Kauravas, and everybody was there. There is mentioned in the Mahabharata certain constellation of stars. And this Dr. Rao, I think it was his name, he calculated when this particular kind of constellation occurred. It was a very specific constellation of stars in the sky. And he came to the calculation some 5,000 years ago. And that is from a scientific point of view. So there is no question the Bhagavad Gītā was spoken some 5,000 years ago. But Krishna says, I spoke it to the sun god. I mean, we're talking millions and millions of years ago. That was the first time. And Vivasvan, that name is mentioned. Vivasvan occupied the position of the predominating deity of the sun. Deva, demigod, Deva. There are many Devas, Indra, Varuna, Vayu, and so on. So Surya, the sun god, at that particular time it was Vivasvan. So that one, when the Bhagavad Gītā was first spoken to Vivasvan. And then he spoke the Bhagavad Gītā. It wasn't written down. Only later, Vyasadeva wrote it down when he wrote down the Mahabharata. So people had such excellent memories, they could remember. They didn't need to write it down. But later on, it became necessary to write it down because the memory, as we go on in this age of Kali, and it decreases more and more and more. So then Vivasvan spoke this same Bhagavad Gītā, as we have in front of us, Bhagavad Gītā as it is. He spoke that Bhagavad Gītā to Manu. Manu is the father of mankind. And he spoke it to Ikshvaku, and in this way, the Bhagavad Gita came into human society. It was originally spoken to the Kshatriya kings, like Vivaswan, Kshatriya only, because they had to rule over subjects. So it was meant for the rulers. It's a very elevated topics are there in Bhagavad Gita. But it was introduced into human society. And then it was spoken again 5,000 years ago. Why? Because Lord Krishna is saying the science of the Bhagavad Gita, and it's a science, appeared to be lost. Therefore, I speak it again to you, Arjuna. So how can the science of the Bhagavad Gita become lost? It's exactly what we're discussing in this verse today, what Srila Prabhupada mentions. Some unauthorized speculators, they interpret the Bhagavad Gita on no authority, just by their own mental speculation and concoction. And then that is then widely accepted, and the real meaning of the Bhagavad Gita is lost. Just imagine, if we would push the interpretation that Krishna actually doesn't exist. Krishna means our mind. And the Pandavas, they never existed. It's just an analogy. The Pandavas are the five senses. And the battlefield of Kurukshetra, there was never a Mahabharata. It is just the body. So it's all an analogy of the body. We're speaking about the mind and the senses. And if we would push this interpretation and this Bhagavad Gita as it is, this literal understanding of Bhagavad Gita, that would disappear. So giving 100, 200, 500 years, maybe 700, 800 years, then the meaning of the Bhagavad Gita is lost. Lost. Nobody knows the true meaning anymore. So therefore, Lord Krishna says, the Bhagavad Gita as it is has been lost by misinterpretation. So therefore, Krishna says, I speak this Bhagavad Gita again to you, Arjuna. So in that way, Arjuna was the first disciple. Not the first, that was Vivaswan, but after the Bhagavad Gita was reintroduced. And then, from Arjuna onwards, there is a chain of disciplic succession. Spiritual master to disciple, to disciple, to disciple, to disciple. And in this way, the Bhagavad Gita, as it is, and as it has been spoken by Lord Krishna 5,000 years ago, is arriving today, or is arriving in the Western countries some 40 years ago when Srila Prabhupada came to the West and founded this Hare Krishna movement and translated this Bhagavad Gita into English language, and from English language into almost any language around the globe. It has been translated. So it is very important to not only have the Bhagavad Gita, the Sanskrit shlokas there, also the meaning, the right meaning needs to be presented along with the Bhagavad Gita, and that is Bhagavad Gita as it is. And that is where we're studying from. And this Bhagavad Gita is accepted by scholars all around the world. It is studied in courses of religious studies and so on. And there are very big scholars who accept it. Accept this this Bhagavad Gītā as it is, as the Bhagavad Gītā. So that was a little bit onset interpretation. So the demons are speculating on Bhagavad Gītā and making their own interpretation, but as devotees we follow in the parampara, in the disciplic succession. This disciplic succession is not necessarily a physical succession, that one spiritual master who is physically present initiates his disciple, and this disciple initiates another disciple, and so it goes down the generation. No, it's a spiritual succession, even if, let's say, there is a big gap of 100 years, 200 years. If someone picks up after 100, 200 years, there is no physical succession, but if someone picks up the right meaning and the right mood of Bhagavad Gītā 200 years later, then that is how the disciplic succession traces itself. So we are sure through the acharyas, and there have been many acharyas, Baladev Vidyabhushana, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and lately Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gokishore Das Babaji, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, and our Srila Prabhupada, and his disciples. And we carrying that Bhagavad Gītā, that true meaning of Bhagavad Gītā, on to the next generation and so on. And it's predicted. Some of us have heard about that. There's a prediction that this Krishna consciousness, God consciousness, Krishna consciousness, will be predominating on this earthly planet for the next 10,000 years. This is a golden age of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Lord Chaitanya? He is Krishna himself, who appeared 500 years ago. Right? Krishna 5,000 years ago. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago. Krishna himself in a disguised incarnation, avatar, is Krishna himself, disguised. Why disguised? Because he plays the role of a devotee. Just like sometimes a teacher, he plays the role of a student. The student is learning A, B, C, and the teacher takes his hand and writes A, B, C. Does it mean the teacher is learning the ABC? No. He is just helping the student. So in the same way, Lord Chaitanya appeared as a devotee to show us how to be a devotee of Krishna. Because in Bhagavad Gītā, Krishna doesn't really show us exactly the way. He just says, Sarva dharma parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva pabebhyo moksha yishyami masucha. Surrender unto me. Give up all other dharmas and surrender, the highest dharma, surrendering to Krishna. And then you will be cleansed of all sinful reactions, of all sinful karma. So that's as far as Krishna, it's 18th chapter, text 66, as Krishna explains the conclusion of Bhagavad Gītā. So, but how to surrender? That he doesn't say. But he says, when he comes back 500 years ago as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then he says, how to surrender? Chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And he spread such chanting throughout India. First, people thought this chanting is just meant for Bengal, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Bengal. The son of Jagannath Mishra and his mother Sachi Devi. So Lord Chaitanya said, in every town and village, this Hare Krishna mantra will be heard. The Hare Krishna mantra was not unknown before Lord Chaitanya. It was there, but mantras generally were just chanted by Brahmins. So the general public didn't have access. And that mantra, before Lord Chaitanya, it started with Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So Lord Chaitanya turned it around, and starting with Hare Krishna and then Hare Rama, and he propagated that widely. So he said in every town and village. So people thought, after Lord Chaitanya had left, they thought, well, every town and village in Bengal, that is just, let's spread this holy name in every town and village in Bengal. And then some others said, why? No. Why Bengal? It means all over Bharat. Okay, then devotees started to spread this chanting, this Sankirtan, all over India, over Bharat. And then Srila Prabhupada, his spiritual master, he gave him the mission to spread this Hare Krishna chanting in English in the Western-speaking countries. So then why only India? All over the world. That is every town and village, all over the world. So in the golden period, which has started with Lord Chaitanya 500 years ago, that is predicted to last for 10,000 years. And people will be known as Hari Bhaktas. And it's described, that's an old prophecy, an old prediction. They have this straight tilak, like here, on their forehead. Vaishnavas. And it will be so common. We cannot imagine today. Well, we have seen how quickly, in 40 years, that Hare Krishna movement, the chanting of Hare Krishna has spread in every town and city around the world. There are temples everywhere. Russia, Africa, Nairobi, Durban, beautiful temples, America, India, so many temples. At the moment, the big temple in Mayapur is almost ready. The temple of the Vedic planetarium. That was Srila Prabhupada's desire, and devotees are fulfilling that. With the Kirtan hall, the biggest Kirtan hall all over India. That Kirtan hall holds 10,000 people chanting. Can you imagine? 10,000 people chanting simultaneously, dancing, raising their arms in the sky. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Yes. And Prime Minister Modi ji, he has spoken so nicely about Lord Chaitanya and acknowledged what this Hare Krishna movement is doing in India. So many things. So for 10,000 years. And then even this Krishna consciousness will disappear again. Because in this material world, everything is appearing and disappearing. Nothing will last forever. So the Kali Yuga, the Iron Age, it will last for 434,000 years. 5,000 years have passed. So 427,000 years are left. And at the end of Kali Yuga, people are so sinful. They're living underground. If someone reaches the age of 20, 30, he's considered an old man. This is all found in the Bhagavad Purana. And people are so degraded at the end of Kali Yuga, they will eat their own children for want of food. So these are horrible, horrible descriptions. So 10,000 years appears to be long, but actually 10,000 years in comparison to 427,000 years is a very short blimp, a very short period. So we should take advantage of this Krishna consciousness and not coming back in this material world, taking another birth, because the external situation will deteriorate constantly, more and more and more. There will be wars, there will be famines, there will be really horrible things. So we should make sure to take advantage of this human form of life, and at the end of this life, go back to Godhead, back to the spiritual world, either Vaikunta or Goloka. So, demons misinterpret Bhagavad Gītā. Devotees, demons. This distinction has been there since the creation. Since the start of the creation, there are those who are devotees of God, of Krishna, and those who are opposing him. Now, looking at that verse again, the important point, very important point, and that's why I have selected this verse for tonight. Usually, others are selecting verses. Amit is always selecting nice verses, or Rituan, or anybody else. So next time, next Wednesday, you all come again, and someone else select a verse. So tonight, after so many verses have been selected by others, I have selected this verse. And why I have selected this verse? Because it is very important. Krishna says, I speak this science of the relationship to the Supreme. Krishna is the Supreme. Arjuna is saying at one point in Bhagavad Gītā, Param Brahma Param Dhamma. You, Krishna, you are the Supreme Brahman. You're the Supreme Abode. You are the personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. And he's citing other Asita, Devala, and other great sages have established that as well. So Arjuna established it in Bhagavad Gītā that Krishna is the Supreme. So in this verse tonight, Krishna says, I am explaining this science of the Supreme, this science of the self in relation to the Supreme, because there is a relationship. We are that consciousness, and Krishna is that super consciousness. We are part and parcel of Krishna. Like the quantum particles in the sunshine are part of the sun, emanating from the sun, like the sparks of the fire. The sparks belong to the fire, they're emanating from the fire. And the sparks have the same qualities as the fire. The sparks are hot. The sparks emitting light, like the fire. The only difference between the sparks of an open fire and the fire is huge, and the sparks are tiny, tiny, small. And if the sparks falling down on some wet ground, they're getting extinguished. So we are these sparks, and Krishna is a big fire. And if we get disconnected from Krishna, then we get extinguished in the sense that we fall under the illusory energy of Maya. If we stay connected with Krishna, then we are always alight with light, with heat, like the sparks. If they're staying in the fire, they're not getting extinguished. And if we're staying in the fire of Krishna consciousness, we are not being overtaken by the illusory energy of Maya. That's very important. Because if we are acting under the illusory energy of Maya, that means birth, death, old age, and disease, again and again and again and again. And so many miseries, the dualities of life. So therefore, that's a big science, how to connect with Krishna. So Krishna says, there is a qualification. When I sent out a little video today, Krishna's privacy policy. Some of you may have watched that video, 1 minute. Others maybe not. So Krishna has a privacy policy. Yes, he has. We have a privacy policy. We don't splash our personal details on Facebook. Some people even have a locked profile because they don't want everybody. So our personal private lives are not for everybody. So Krishna has also a privacy policy. Not everybody has entrance to Krishna and to the Bhagavad Gītā. Of course, the Bhagavad Gītā is a book. But without Krishna revealing the true meaning of Bhagavad Gītā, we just speculate. We're just making so many interpretations. So there is a true meaning, a deep meaning to Bhagavad Gītā, every single verse. So Krishna gives some qualifications, 2 qualifications. If you really want to understand this science of connecting with me, connecting with the super consciousness, then you must be my devotee. Krishna reveals himself. He says in Bhagavad Gītā, Tesham satata yuktanam, bhachatam pritipurvakam, dadami buddhi yogam tam, yena mam upayanti te. I give the intelligence to those who serving me with love. Amit, question.
Prabhu, no, thank you. Sorry, it's not a question. But Prabhu, I've just got to leave early tonight because I've got to do some stuff for my work.
Okay. What
Okay.
means early? In 15 minutes?
Yeah,
What-
yeah. And I've just got to check something. So
Yes,
it's-
yes.
I've got to.
We're finishing anyway. We're finishing 8:15. Latest, if there are questions, latest 8:30.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah. It's just going to take me a bit of an hour or so, Prabhu, and I just want to try to get it done.
Okay, no problem.
But thank you. If you enjoy the class tonight and
Okay,
understand. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Krishna is not revealing himself just to anybody. Let's take an example. The president of a country, he will not just reveal his private affairs to any and everybody. He is a president, Mr. President. That far we can know. That far we can know the president. But if we want to know him more personal, we have to, first of all, we have to go to so many secretaries and this and that. And if we make friends with the president and he invites us to his home, that is a different level. Then with personal friend, with the president, with the prime minister. Imagine, personal friend with the prime minister. Therefore, the mobile numbers of presidents and prime ministers are always hidden away. Nobody can that easily connect with them. They don't want to connect with just anybody. You have to qualify. So with Krishna, it's the same. First of all, we have to become his devotee. Why should he reveal himself to someone who is inimical to him? Like the prime minister. Someone who's constantly criticizing him, who is inimical, who condemning him. Why should he invite such a person to his private home? He wouldn't. But if someone is inclined in a loving spirit, that's a different story. Then Krishna says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I give the intelligence by which you can come to me. That's also interesting. By which you can come to me means to Krishna. Where is he? He has his home in the spiritual world. Vaikuntha, Vishnu's planet. How many Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual world? Beyond this material universe, there is a spiritual sky. The creation, this material, not only our universe, the innumerable universes, just like bubbles, innumerable universes. And all these universes combined, uncountable universes. Some are bigger than ours, some are smaller. Each universe has a Lord Brahma, the presiding deity. Our Lord Brahma has 4 heads. It's a smaller universe. There's some universes which are bigger than 64 heads, Brahma. So the spiritual world is beyond the Viraja river. So the border between the material and the spiritual creation. And it is stated in the Shastra that this material creation, all these universes combined, is just a quarter. That's just to give us an example. A quarter of the total creation. Well, what then are the 3/4? The 3/4 are the spiritual creation. The innumerable spiritual planets in the spiritual sky. And the topmost planet within the spiritual sky is called Goloka, or Goloka Vrindavan. That is Krishna's very own home, so to speak. So Krishna says, I give you the intelligence, Dadami buddhi yoga tam. Yena mam upayantite, how you can come to me. So why do we want to go to Krishna? As devotees, that is very clear cut. Because we love Krishna. We are attracted to Krishna. And we go to Krishna, to the spiritual world. We will not take a birth again in this material world. Finished. Eternal, blissful life in the company of Krishna. Or in Vaikuntha, in the company of Vishnu. 4-handed Narayan. And all his devotees of Narayan, they also have 4-handed forms. Same, looking like Narayan. So that is why we want to go to Krishna, to finish our term here. This material world is just compared to a prison. And it's a prison. Who is a prison warden? Devi, Durga. She is a prison warden. She keeps everybody in that prison. And only let people come out of that prison if Krishna says, okay, leave him alone. He is my devotee. Then Durga Mata, she will not bother that devotee with her illusory potency. And this illusion is very, very strong, extremely strong. One cannot overcome it so easily. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gītā, Daivi esha gunamai mama maya duratyaya. Mama, this is my maya. This material illusion is Krishna's maya. What is it illusion? We identify with this body. We think we belong to a particular family. We think we belong to a community. We think we are Indians and Englishmen and Americans. We think we are Hindu, Muslims, Christian. We neither of this. We are not. That is just some external identification. So what are we then? Nitya Krishna Das. Eternal servants of Krishna. That is our real identity. But it is covered over. Now we have created so many coverings. I'm Ukrainian, I'm Russian, we fight and kill each other. I'm Israeli, I'm Palestinian, we fight, we kill each other. That is all the trouble in this world, comes from this misidentification. This is my friend, this is my enemy. Misidentification. Because if we are eternal spirit soul, Nitya Krishna Das, then there is no friend and enemy. Everybody is a child of the same father. So why are we creating artificial identities? No, we are spirit soul. The spirit soul is neither Indian, nor American, nor African, no Hindu, no Muslim, no Christian. The spirit soul is nothing of that. We are all the same as spirit souls. Like the sparks of the fire. They're all the same. It's not one spark is English spark. One spark is a Russian spark. No. We have created these artificial divisions amongst human beings. So, to come to a conclusion, Krishna says in that verse tonight, not only do we need to be a devotee, his devotee. Devotee means devoted to Krishna. We also need to be his friend. We need to become Krishna's friend. And friend, a true friend, will do anything for his friend without any thought of a return. That's not a friend. I do something for you if you do something for me. That is a business relationship. That is not a true friend. A true friend means I do something for you. I don't care if you return something for me. So we should not go to God or Krishna just to fulfill our material desires. Give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that. Of course, that is better than not approaching Krishna. But that is a very low position. Just give me, give me, give me, give me. It's just like in a family. And anyone who has children, they know that. If the children constantly give me this, give me that, daddy, give me this, give me that. That is one type of relationship. But if the children, they're growing up a little bit and they have some loving spirit and they buy something, even though they're buying with the pocket money from the father, they're buying some present, some gift to give him on his birthday. Now, how pleased the father is. That sentiment of the children presenting something to him. It's just like when we go stand in the Ganges, we're taking water in our palms and we're offering that same water to the Ganga. The same water, it's her water. We're taking her water and offering it to her, but with gratefulness, with love, with devotion. So a friend is not asking anything in return. A genuine friend is doing anything for his friend. So Krishna wants that kind of friend. That kind of friend. That is the top level of bhakti and Krishna consciousness. That we acting, we becoming not only a devotee, but also Krishna's friend. And then Lord Krishna will reveal the science of the soul. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Manju, what do you think? Does it make sense? Sunil, what do you say?
Absolutely, absolutely, Maharaj.
Is there anything new what you heard tonight? What you didn't hear before?
No, not really. No.
Not really. So you're a devotee of Krishna. There's no
I-
question. And a friend as well.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Rituan, you say something. Add something. Ask a question or add something.
Prabhu, that was a really wonderful class where you emphasized on the point that which Prabhupada is making here about the distinction between demons and demigods and how their conception about the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. And also the private policy, as you mentioned, was really a very nice analogy. As you mentioned, like there are some like people, they have their own private policies and other things which they don't want to share unless until there are certain criteria. One of them being if there is a very close friend, they might reveal or open their hearts to them. So in order to know what Krishna wants, we have to become a devotee. So that is the criteria. So the more we advance in Krishna consciousness, that means the more we go towards, more we connect towards Krishna through devotion, through chanting of the holy names. Krishna's policy or Krishna's wishes will be, or Krishna's desire will be manifested in our hearts. Just like Arjun, when he completely surrendered, he's definitely a pure devotee, but he's acting as if somebody who is like mesmerized by Maya. But after hearing Srimad Bhagavad Gītā, his connection or bond with Krishna was much more firm, much more deep, and that's why he understood, and that's why he understood what Krishna wants. So the Maya was taken off from the covering of Maya, the curtain of Maya went away, and Arjun was able to understand what Krishna really wants with him, and he became an instrument in fulfilling the desires of Krishna. That is to just like what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gītā, he came to re-establish dharma, and he wanted to do it through his pure devotees, the Pandavas. And Arjuna and the other Pandavas understood that, realized that, as because they were pure devotees of Krishna. And Krishna also mentioned in Bhagavad Gītā that I am revealing this very confidential knowledge to you, Arjun, because you are a very dear devotee of mine. So that's the key point that you emphasize, and Srila Prabhupada also emphasized, that we need to be we need to be a devotee of Krishna in order to know what Krishna wishes. Hare Krishna.
Well, thank you very much. Very nicely said. One question remains. How to get from where we are now to get to the position where we fully surrendered to Krishna? And Krishna says, Krishna asks, Sarvadhamam Parityaja. Surrender unto me. And then all our karmic slate will be wiped. The karmic slate will be wiped. Previously, 50 years back, children in schools had a slate. Not anymore today. They have a laptop nowadays. On iPad, they had a slate where with some chalks they wrote, and even the teacher. At the end, there was a blackboard, not a whiteboard, a blackboard, a slate board, really, where with chalk it is written on. So Krishna is clearing that slate because that chalkboard, that blackboard, you took a sponge, a wet sponge, went over it, and everything, all the mathematical calculation of the entire class for 1 hour, that at the end of the lesson, it was all wiped away. So Krishna is clearing our karmic slate. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants that. I don't want to suffer my karma. Please, bless me, that I... that my karma is not, because bad karma means distress and suffering. Nobody wants to suffer. But everybody is forced to act in so many sinful ways. But we don't want to suffer. We don't want the consequences. Back again to the food. Krishna says in another verse, those who not offer the food to me, who don't acknowledge me, I am the proprietor. I'm giving this food. Where is this food coming from? Where is it coming from? We eat something. We eat some sabji. Where is it all coming from? It's coming from the earth. It's coming from the plants, and it is needed the sunlight and the rain. So it's coming ultimately from Krishna, and we just take it and take it for granted. Now, that's not a very good suggestion. We take it for granted. We have to acknowledge. It's just like the neighbor has a very nice sports car in his driveway. The keys are in the car. The door is open. The neighbor's car. And we just think, oh, nice car. Well, I'll take it. We'll drive around. That is stealing. We're punishable for that. A thief. It's the same way. If we just take for granted the food we eat, the air we breathe, we take it for granted. So water we drink, we don't acknowledge Krishna. We take it for granted. Then we become thieves. We become punishable. So if Krishna says, I will wipe this karmic slate clean, no more. You will not suffer for your sinful deeds in so many, many previous lifetimes. Well, that is a good proposition, isn't it? That's very nice. People try with their own way. That's a very important point also. In their own ways, they try to clear their bad karma by doing good karma. Right? Doing pious activity. This yakya and this and that and good deeds, simple good deeds, being a good human being. Does it work? Let me ask you, Sunil. Does good karma, pious activity, counteract any sinful things we have done?
That is to balance the current. You might have a previous bad karma as well, which is accumulated. So, because in my opinion, whatever you are doing in this life, you don't have even many lives together to clear the bad karma of this life. So you might have developed bad karma of the past lives, which could be humongous in volume. So doing good karma alone is not going to get rid of that. It is the bhakti which will clear that and wholesome. In that is my understanding.
Hare Krishna. I'm very pleased to hear that from you, because there are many, many people who think by doing good karma, the bad karma is cleared. But that's not the case. There is a story where some pious person, at the end of their lives, they were taken to Yamaraj. And he protested, "Why are you taking me to Yamaraj? I have been a good person. I've done so many pious, so much good karma." "Yeah, but you have also done some bad karma." "Yeah, but my good karma is canceling out the bad karma, isn't it?" And Yamaraj said, "No, it's not. You have to experience the result of your bad karma and of your good karma. The only choice you have now. You want to first go to the heavenly planets and enjoy, and then come down to the lower planets and suffer, or you want to first suffer and then enjoy. So both has to be experienced. So good karma doesn't cancel out bad karma. As you rightly said, Sunil, bhakti, that cancels out. Because bhakti surrender to Krishna, and then he will clear that karmic slate. Any question? Yeah, one more point I wanted to mention before we finish. We come to the end. How do we get from where we are now to the pure bhakti, everything for Krishna? It is just like spoon feeding a child. We all have Rituan. You have your little Tejas right next to you, right? So once he is eating solid food, sometimes we we trick our children, small children. They don't want to eat. We feed them with a spoon, and they don't like it. Sometimes, something they don't like. So what we do, we take a spoonful ourselves, and we say, one for Peter, one for Daddy, and one for little Tejas. And then the children are inclined, "Oh, my father is taking one, then I should also take one." And then the next one for the father, one for little Tejas, and so on. So that is a trick. So we can do that also with Krishna. Because we are still very attached to our own material desires or sense gratification, whatever we call it. And it's not that easy to let go. So we do that simple trick. One for Krishna, one for me. One for Krishna, one for me. And then as we progress in our dedication to bhakti, then we say 2 for Krishna, 1 for me. 5 for Krishna, 10 for Krishna. 90% for Krishna and 10% for me. We still have some material attachments. And pure bhakti means 100% for Krishna, nothing for me in return. I don't expect anything. All what I want is to serve Krishna. And I will be satisfied with serving Krishna. And that brings us to that friendship also. To be a friend to Krishna like that. Everything for Krishna. I don't expect anything in return. Okay. That was a nice verse today. We'll have gone a little bit around with a wide explanation, because I did not know, Sunil and Manju, what is your understanding. So I explained a little bit in a wide circle, Lord Chaitanya and this and this and that. Any question? Last question? Comment?
Prabhu, I have just one question.
Yes.
Like, as you mentioned, it's like a progressive pathway, like 50%, then 60, 70, 90, 100, like that. But like I've seen some devotees who are very, has been practicing Krishna consciousness for a long, long time and very sincerely. It's not like a duplicitous way, but very sincerely. But even sometimes I see those devotees, they sometimes are struggling in the sense, struggling to, be fully Krishna conscious, in the sense there are so many anarthas which are coming. Not like willingly they are doing something which is against Krishna consciousness, but they are sincerely trying to be in Krishna consciousness, trying to chant the holy names very sincerely, do other services, read Srila Prabhupada's books. But sometimes what happens, different anarthas, maybe the mind playing tricks, and I've seen like many devotees, very senior devotees, some of them. So how do we explain that? Because it is said that if we chant the holy names, as you mentioned, the anarthas go away, the sinful reactions of the past deeds, they are mitigated. So even at this stage, 20 years or 30 years of doing very sincere services, they sometimes feel difficulties coming from the mind, not willingly, but unwillingly also. So how can we understand that? What is happening exactly?
Okay, good question. What is a long time? What is a long time? That is a question. With 5 years in Krishna consciousness, we are practicing bhakti for 10 years. Is that a long time? Srila Prabhupada spoke to his early disciples, you're all young men. You are expected to live at least another 50 years, so we're in the 20s. And then he said something very important. 50 years is more than enough to become fully Krishna conscious. So it may take some time. So maybe not 10 years and 20 years, maybe not 30 years. More than enough, maybe 40 years. Depending also. The mind, yes, the mind is such a rascal. Therefore, the mind need to be engaged in chanting Hare Krishna constantly. That's a trick. Constantly. Wherever. What stops us? Yeah, well, there are things which stop us if we're not humble enough and tolerant, like a tree and there's a straw in the street. And yes, but the mind needs to be engaged constantly, 24 hours. That's a vaccination against the illusory energy. So if 50 years is more than enough to become fully Krishna conscious, let me say that. We know the stages of bhakti. It starts with Shraddha, faith. Then it comes sadhu sangha, like we have tonight, association of devotees. Very important. If we don't have association of devotees, we cannot progress properly. After sadhu sangha is bhajana kriya. We getting engaged in Krishna consciousness. We're doing something for Krishna in the association of devotees and with the help of the association of devotees. And then after bhajana kriya, there comes a long, seemingly endless road of anartha nivritti, which means the purification of the mind and the heart. There seems to be no end to that anartha nivritti, but there is an end. There is an end. And eventually, before we know, it may take 50 years, so what? 50 years. We have been in this material world for millions of lifetimes. What is 50 years? And then comes a stage, as our Kadamba Kanana Swami has so nicely explained, Nishta, steadiness in devotional, in our bhakti, steadiness. And he explained, at that stage, Maya is at a distance. Very interesting. Maya is at a distance. Before that stage, Maya is just right next to us. That makes a big difference. If Maya is at a distance, we can see her coming before she's coming. There was one devotee who said, Srila Prabhupada, Maya is trying to attack me and trick me. And Srila Prabhupada said, very good. What do you mean? Very good. Very good. You can see when Maya is coming and trying to trick and attack you and illusion you, that is very good. Because if Maya isn't like next to us, we don't have even a chance, we don't even have time. We overcome by the illusory energy before we even can think. But if Maya is at a distance, we can see her coming. We can be prepared. Well, that's the difference. Sunil.
Prabhuji, I wanted to add one more thing.
Yeah.
It's a great explanation to this. But this anartha or the grief or the misery, that is also these are the ways by which we are getting rid of the bad karma as well. So whatever, if anything is enforced on me, which is not to my liking or is a misery, that is the suffering of the bad karma of the past. So it's getting riddance. It's the fruit of the good deeds that I am doing at the moment, because I'll be hurriedly paying back the debt. So we shouldn't be feeling bad when something untoward happens to me. We should be accepting that also as the prasad of Krishna.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Very good point. We're burning up our bad karma.
Burning the bad karma, yes.
But it's more than that. We recently spoke about that. For the devotees who are directly under Krishna's protection, it is actually not bad karma. It looks like bad karma, but it is not. Because Krishna is giving this punishment, so to speak, in order to get rid of the last traces of our material desires in the heart and the mind, to purify us. So Krishna wants his devotees to be 100% purified of the last remnants, the gross material illusory desires and missteps. They have already been cleared, but there might be some hidden desires still left within the heart. So therefore Krishna arranges so-called difficulties in order to take these last remnants of our material selfish desires out of our heart. Therefore, at the end of the prayers of Queen Kunti, she says something very nice. She said, I don't mind if we are walking the streets like beggars. If everybody is turning against us, the whole world is taking against us, we don't mind all of that. But please, my Lord, Krishna, do whatever is necessary to purify me, to be able to enter into your divine abode. So yes, whatever we should say to Krishna, do whatever is necessary. I want to come to you. If something needs to be purified, yes, let's do it. A last story before we stop, or we're running already over time. The story of the potter. There was a potter and a lump of clay. He took that clay and he smashed it on his pottery wheel very, very strongly. And the clay was complaining, what are you doing? You're smashing me on the pot. That hurts. Why are you doing that? And the potter said, just wait and see. Then he took that clay and formed a pot on the potter's wheel. And the clay complained again. Oh, it's spinning around. I'm getting dizzy. Why are you doing that with me? He said, you just wait. Then once that pot has been nicely formed on the potter's wheel, he took it into the oven. Very hot burning, to burn the clay vase it was. And the clay, the vase, he was shouting, "Get me out of here! It's too hot! I'm burning! I'm dying! Get me out of here!" And after seemingly a long time, he got out of the oven. And then the potter took some glazing and put it, some color, some glazing on that vase. And that vase was shouting, "What are you doing now? It smells horrible. Now you've completely intoxicating me. I can't stand that smell." And the potter said, "You just wait and see." And then the potter took that vase, that pot, again into the oven and burned it even at a higher temperature. And that pot was shouting, "I'm gonna die. Take me out. Why are you so merciless to me? What are you doing to me?" And then after some time, he took him out. And the pot was, "Oh, what now? What's next?" And then the potter took a mirror and showed it to the pot. And the pot said, "What? That's me? Yes, that's you. I had to do all of these things to make you so beautiful. From a lump of dirt and clay, you became a beautiful vase, a beautiful pot." So, in that sense, we can pray to Krishna, "Do whatever is necessary to make me fit for entering your divine abode." Hare Krishna. So I think on that note we stop. Now, Sunil and Manshu, will you come every Wednesday? It is nice to
Yeah.
have you here.
Thank you, Prabhuji. My speaker was not working before when you asked, say something.
Okay, no
So
problem.
next time, definitely I will say, because I was listening today. Yeah, we will definitely come next week. Yeah, we
Yes,
will
so
join.
the Wednesday is most suitable. It's the same link again and
Okay.
again. If somehow or other, and it has happened, said I forgot to send out the link. Today I send it very late. Normally I send it out in the morning. If it happens
Okay.
that I forget to send the link, then you just go back to the last post with the link.
Okay.
It's the
Right.
same link. You just click it and you are in.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much for being here. Nice to have you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
And I think, I don't know, let's see what you feel. That eventually would be a nice forum for your boys as well. Maybe.
Surely, Prabhuji. Surely.
Okay, thank you very much. See you next Wednesday.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.